It is a cold, nasty night here in Pittsburgh. It's been raining all day long, but the rain has lightened up sufficiently, so we expect to get our game in on time. It's the second game of a four-game series between the Dodgers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Dodgers already know that the Atlanta Braves have won today, so if the Dodgers are to propel themselves into the playoffs for the second consecutive year, they have to do it on their own with a win tonight, and with 8 games left, a 5-game lead over Colorado, thus the magic number is 4. Again, everybody, Charlie Steiner sitting in for Eric Collins tonight alongside our old friend Steve Lyons. Dodgers, if they're going to win tonight, who better to give the ball to than Randy Wolf?
You wouldn't have expected it when the season started, but for the last 2 months, this guy has absolutely been the ace of the staff. He's got 6 wins in his last 8 starts. He's been phenomenal out there. And I talked to him yesterday, and he said he actually feels better and younger now that he's older than he did when he was younger. So his workout regimen is a lot better. He knows how to prepare himself for games now, and he's been tremendous all season.
In his 32 starts this season, the Dodgers team record is 21-11. A lot of Dodger fans in Pittsburgh tonight as we get ready for the second game of this 4-game series. Lineups coming up next. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by the Teriyaki $6 Burger with grilled pineapple, back at Carl's Jr. By Verizon, America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family. And by the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California and the family of Southern California Water Agencies. Well, the rain stopped just in the nick of time. It's 59 degrees as we begin our ball game tonight. We expect rain to move in the next 90 minutes or so, but we also expect to play through it. Here's the lineup put together by manager Joe Torre. Rafael Furcal's been about the hottest hitter in the National League lately. One mild alteration in the lineup. You see Belliard at third base. Initially it was going to be Casey Blake, but because of the weather conditions and the gimpy hamstring of Casey Blake, the veteran third baseman will get one more night off, and they're going to be facing the Dodgers will 27-year-old left-hander Paul Maholm.
And Maholm has pitched more innings in this ballpark than any other pitcher. He's 23-14 here at home lifetime.
And here's Rafael Furcal taking under the knees. Furcal is riding a 9-game hitting streak, during which time he's hitting .447. He's 17 for his last 38. Well, make it 18 for his last 39. He has just been on fire, and he's on his way to second base. Out at second base. Furcal trying to make something happen, and Lasting's Millage would have none of it.
Wow, this is a sure single that Rafi tried to turn into a double, but Millage out there in left field covers a ton of ground. Look how quickly he gets to this ball. And Rafi decides to try him anyway. It's going to take a perfect throw to get him. And what'd you get? Perfect throw, and he might have been safe anyway. You see that left hand looked like it got in there first, but maybe he slid off the bag with his left hand and was ruled out that way.
Adrian Johnson, the second base umpire, with the call. And here's Juan Pierre. Pierre starting tonight. He's the only left-handed bat in the lineup if you exclude Randy Wolf. James Loney, Andre Ethier getting the night off. Pierre at .313. So Furcal wanted to make something happen, and he's gunned down at second base.
You'll know if Maholm's having a good night tonight if he keeps the ball down. He's a sinker, big slurve, changeup kind of guy. He'll throw his fastballs into guys in order to be able to pitch away from them. Needs to throw ground balls to be effective.
Just foul. The assist by Lasting's Millage. That was the 45th outfield assist by the Pirates this year. So their defense has been very good. Their pitching hasn't been so good, and their hitting hasn't been much. But they make the plays.
Defense is the best in the National League.
So it's 2-2 to Pierre with 1 out, just underway from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. And Pierre, he may get 3 out of this before all is said and done, and he will. Juan Pierre arrives safely at third base with his 7th 3-base hit of the year.
Pierre continuing to do big things when he gets his opportunities to play. That is a ball down in the strike zone, but that's exactly where Pierre likes it. Puts it right in the gap between the outfielders, and if it gets into that right center field gap, there's no stopping Pierre. It's a cinch triple for him.
Well, here comes Manny with a chance to plate a run in the first inning. Manny under 300 now. Still looking for his 100th base hit of the season. Kemp is on deck. So the Dodgers looking to draw first blood, and when they do, they win about 3/4 of the time. Fly ball to deep center field. And that's going to go to the wall and bounce over the wall for a grounds rule double. So with his 100th base hit of the season, Manny Ramirez drives in his 62nd run, and the Dodgers have an early 1-0 lead.
Well, teams continue to try to go away from Manny Ramirez. I just don't understand it. That's right into his happy house when you throw him out over the plate and away. That ball just drilled into the gap, and Mahalam so far isn't fooling anybody.
3 hard hits in a row for the Dodgers, only for Call being cut down at second base. The only out so far for Mahalam. Brings up Matt Kemp. Matt has 177 base hits on the season. That ranks him 6th in the National League. He's also 3rd in the league in stolen bases with 34. And Mahalam off to a very rugged start. 27-year-old from Mississippi, his 31st start of the season. An ERA of about 4.5.
He's been having a tough time keeping the ball down in his recent starts. He's given up 9 home runs in his last 11 starts. He's 0-3 lifetime against the Dodgers.
And on the season, everybody's hitting a total of 291 against him. The Pirates pitching staff, in terms of ERA at any rate, ranks 15th out of the 16 teams. ERA of over 4 1/3. And Mahalam's ERA is about 4.5.
Imagine what those numbers would be if their defense wasn't so good. We talked about that a little bit before. They set a season record for fewest errors of 83 in 07. They've only committed 68 errors so far this season. They may blow that record away.
On 3-0, Kemp into center field. McCutchen the easy play, and there's 2 out. Delwyn Young, the former Dodger, in conference with Manny at second base.
Delwyn saying, hey, Manny, what do you got for me? How can I get a hit? Delwyn Young's in the middle of an 8 for 78 slump.
With 2 out, Ronnie Belliard was supposed to start at second base tonight. But about an hour before the game, Joe Torre opted to put Belliard at third and insert Orlando Hudson at second base because of the weather conditions. Didn't want to chance it with Casey Blake in that left hamstring that's been barking at him a bit. But Belliard has been a terrific addition for the Dodgers.
It's one of those moves made by Ned Colletti where when you make the move, you're kind of thinking, what? We have an all-star second baseman. Where else is he going to play? Maybe he can fill in at third, but this has been maybe the best addition that the team has made, considering how well he's played and where he's been able to play and fill in for injuries and hurts.
And a fly ball to left field, retreating is Millage. He's got some room, and that is that in the first inning. The Dodgers with a run and 3 hits, and they leave 1. After the first half of the first, it's 1-0. So the Dodgers with a single, a double, and a triple in the first inning played a run and leave 1. And now it's time for the AM/PM Pirates batting order. Andrew McCutchen leads off in center field, followed by the former Dodger Andy LaRoche. Garrett Jones in right, Ryan Dome at the switch hitting catcher in the cleanup spot. Lastings Village and Steve Pearce at first base. Delwyn Young, the former Dodger, at second. Luis Cruz, a light-hitting shortstop, and Mahalam pitching and batting ninth. And the 32-year-old from Canoga Park, Randy Wolf, makes his 33rd start of the year.
Well, imagine his record. It's 11-6 right now if he didn't have those 13 no decisions, which is pretty well known that most of those games were games that he should have won.
But in his 32 starts, the Dodgers are 21-11. In his last 8 starts, as Steve mentioned, Wolf 6-0 and an ERA of under 2.5. In his first 24 starts with those 13 no decisions, he had a record of 5-6 and an ERA of 3.5. Now here's McCutchen, who takes high. Andrew at 278, 12 home runs, 52 runs batted in. He is one of the young fellas that the Pirates think they can build or rebuild this franchise around.
Randy Wolf up over 200 innings now, again for the first time in 6 seasons.
Well, he has pitched down the stretch his best baseball of the season. Easy play, 4 for call. Loretta's at first base. Take a look now at the Southern California Ford Dealers Dodger defense. Belliard at second. Actually, at second base tonight, Orlando Hudson, the late addition for college short. Ronnie Belliard at third. And Wolf and Martin are behind the plate. So quickly 1 out and nobody on. And one of the keys, Steve, to Wolf's success, his economical pitch count. And he retires the first 2 batters on 3 pitches.
He's one of those guys, his MO is basically to pitch backwards, but to throw a lot of strikes. He knows he's not going to throw the ball by a lot of people unless they're looking for his breaking ball, and he gets them to look for his breaking ball quite often. Throw curveballs early in counts and then throws his fastball right by guys, or gets them to just not be able to pull the trigger on it for strike 3 many times.
When you think of Randy Wolf, who's not an especially big fellow, you don't think of him necessarily as a strikeout pitcher, but he averages about 7.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Garrett Jones takes a strike. Jones with 20 home runs. That's more home runs than any other rookie in the major leagues this year. And he has flown quietly under the radar screen, hitting .302.
Both Jones and McCutchen will get mentioned certainly in the Rookie of the Year conversations that come up. Chris Coughlin down in Florida is the guy that has been pretty impressive and is at the top of a lot of the offensive categories. Jones leads all rookies with the home runs, as you mentioned.
And he's just lined himself a double into the left field corner. For Garrett Jones, his 20th 2-base hit of the season, with 2 out in the bottom of the first.
A pretty good piece of hitting. This ball's down and away from him, and he just waits and then slashes it to left field for the base hit.
Well, the Pirates have nowhere to go but up. They have not had a winning season since 1992. Ryan Domit, the switch-hitting catcher, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Domit at 244, and with only 16 walks, his on-base percentage is but .287. And therein lies part of the Pirate problem. Your cleanup hitter doesn't produce a whole lot of runs. It doesn't have a high batting average. It doesn't get on base a whole lot. Little wonder then that the Pirates ranked 14th of the 16 teams in the National League in offense. And this will be an easy first inning for Randy Wolf. No runs and a hit. Loretta and Martin and Hudson will hit for the Dodgers in the second inning. Fans, tonight's game is presented in high definition by Time Warner Cable. Beautiful pictures from a beautiful ballpark, PNC Park, with the Allegheny River off beyond the outfield wall, And once a year, when you come to Pittsburgh, you can use the word confluence easily and readily and appropriately at the confluence of the Allegheny, Monongahela, and the Ohio rivers. Mark Loretta promptly bashes a base hit into right field. So the Dodgers have had no trouble with Mahalam through the first inning plus.
To me, the word confluence isn't the tough thing. It's pronouncing the other three rivers.
So Loretta is aboard. He's starting tonight at first base with the lefty Mahalam going. Loney got the night off tonight. So did Andre Ethier. And here's Russell Martin. First ball swinging. There's one. There's two. Well, the Pirates play defense, don't they?
Well, that's the 18th double play ball that Russell Martin's hit into all season long. He's been bitten by that double play bug.
And so quickly 2 out and nobody on. Dodger Alumni Club 2/3 of that double play. That was the 160th double play turned by the Pirate infield that leads the National League. Orlando Hudson steps into the batter's box. Orlando figured to watch tonight's game until the weather essentially forced Joe Torre's hand to sit out Casey Blake one more game. Hudson at 286. Orlando hitting but 239 in the final month of the season. So he's been struggling, and as he's been struggling, Ronnie Belliard, upon his arrival, has been red hot. The 2-0 from Mahalam. 3 balls, no strikes. Randy Wolf, no slouch with the bat on deck.
Looks the way Belliard's played too. You wouldn't expect him to be a guy that's going to drive in a lot of runs, but in his 19 games, he's driven in 15.
3-1 to Hudson. Well, Belliard was a last-minute addition to the Cardinals in 2006, and he helped propel them to a World Series championship. Hudson's swinging probably at ball 4. The 155th game of the season for the Dodgers. With 8 games to play, a 5-game lead on the Rockies. So the magic number is down to 4. To center field. And McCutcheon's got a long way to go. Got a great jump on the ball to make the catch rather easily. No runs and a hit. 1-0 Dodgers. We head to the bottom of the second. Lastings, Millage, Steve Pearce, and Delwyn Young will bat for the Pirates in the bottom half of the second inning.
Look at that.
Pittsburgh used to be, like Cleveland, a punchline. It isn't anymore. It's a beautiful city. And what PNC Park has done here in Pittsburgh and Jacobs Field in Cleveland, inspiring a renaissance to these Mideastern United States cities. Lastings, Millage. 0-1. Millage, 3 home runs, only 17 runs batted in. Came up with the Mets. Spent a bit of time in Washington until Niger Morgan was traded there, and Millage came here.
Sort of an odd trade when you look at who got traded for who, especially when you talk to the people in Washington who basically thought Niger Morgan was the second coming there, really. I mean, he really turned that organization on its head before he broke his hand.
Well, they envision this is going to be a tough play. Wow. What a play by Randy Wolf. And a great scoop at the other end by Mark Loretta.
Well, I wasn't exactly sure how Randy Wolf was going to go about making this play, but this wouldn't have been my choice. Look at him just go scoop it that way and just fire on his way down. Maybe that's one of those plays where you say it's probably an ill-advised throw. unless it works. He's falling into the other team's dugout when he's letting that thing go.
It's like when you're playing basketball. Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't. Nice shot.
Yep.
Well, that was a spectacular play. One of the things that goes unnoticed about Randy Wolf is what a great all-around athlete he is. He runs very well. Turns out he's a pretty good hitter. He's got 11 runs batted in this year. And he's made a couple of plays like that, just eye-openers. To right field, and right there is Matt Kemp. And so these Pirates, they're swinging at the first pitch, it seems. Every one of them.
Well, everyone's trying to get to that Foreigner concert after the game.
They don't have to go anywhere. Foreigner is appearing after the game here, complete with a fireworks show.
Yeah, the thing about Randy Wolf is he's not typical of anything.
A riverboat out beyond the right field wall. You hear the steam horn. There it goes. Delwyn Young, a ball and a strike. Actually, the skies have cleared considerably. The rain, which had been falling all day, stopped just about game time. To deep left field. Manny watches it go foul.
We're talking about Randy Wolf just not being typical. A lot of the players always laugh at the pitchers. They'll call them non-athletes, and especially the left-handers. Lefty non-athletes, and that's just couldn't be further from the truth with Randy Wolf. He's an excellent athlete, and he's not a off-the-wall crazy guy either, like most lefties are.
The pride of Pepperdine. Canoga Park's Randy Wolf on 1 and 2. And opposing hitters are hitting just .227 against them this year, and lefties are hitting .145 against them.
The thing that makes him so good is the fact that he doesn't throw that hard. He can run that fastball up there about 90, 91, but the differential between that and his 65-mile-an-hour curveball makes the fastball look much harder.
Like that one. The Dodgers, of course, just a magic number of 1 to get into the playoffs. Atlanta won today, 11-5. Magic number is 4 to win the division outright. The Dodgers with a 2-game lead in the loss column on Philadelphia, 3 over the Cardinals. And the 1-2, did he go around? Yes, he did. And that ends the inning. First strikeout of the game for Randy Wolf. 1-0 Dodgers as we head to the third. Dodgers with a 1-0 lead. Randy Wolf and Rafael Furcal and Juan Pierre will hit in the third inning. We were talking before the break, Steve, about Wolf and looking ahead to the postseason. And so I'm going to ask you something here. Is Randy Wolf at 169? He's got 11 hits and 11 runs batted in. Talk about bang for the buck. Only Carlos Zambrano has as many runs batted in as Randy Wolf among all the pitchers in the National League this year. And he has, Wolf, with the 11 RBIs. All of the other Dodger pitchers combined have a total of 12 runs batted in. So he has certainly helped his cause considerably this year.
Well, he's helped his cause on many, many fronts, considering how the offseason went for him last season with the offer made by the Astros for considerable money. I believe it was 3 years of $28 million, and then the offer then rescinded the next day
as the economy was going into the tank.
Randy signed it with the Dodgers and put himself into position to get himself a raise for next year. As we were talking before, he says he's way smarter now in his 11th season. He's a much better workout guy. He said mainly leg squats have been the big difference for him.
The 2-2 right into the glove of Steve Pearce. 1 out. So let's talk about the playoffs a little bit. And in a perfect world, who would you rather see the Dodgers play in the first round? Let's assume that the Dodgers win out and have the best record in the National League. They would enjoy home field advantage, of course, throughout. But in the best of 5, Cardinals or the Phillies, and why?
The Nationals.
Well, that ain't going to happen. And the way the Dodgers play at Nationals Park, that may not be such a good idea for Call.
It's such a toss-up, and I think it's a tough decision for Joe Torre, too, because I think his starting rotation will be vastly different depending on who they do face. You know, I think a lot of people would say bring on the Phillies, exact a little revenge out of that. Maybe the left-handed pitching that the Dodgers have right now might neutralize their lefties. But, you know, in the short series, you know, I don't know.
See, in the short series, and if the Dodgers have home field advantage, I would rather see the Dodgers play the Phillies for one of the reasons you just tapped in on. The Dodgers left-handed pitching between Wolf and Kershaw, and as we mentioned, Wolf against lefties, they're hitting 145 against him for Call. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Kershaw, lefties are hitting 171 against him, and then you've got Quo and Sherrill coming out of the bullpen, and with those big left-handed boppers in Philadelphia, Howard and Utley and Ibanez, it would seem as a matchup that the Dodgers and the Phillies would be a better matchup for the Dodgers than the Cardinals. And the Dodgers, of course, have had all sorts of problems beating the Cardinals in St. Louis.
I think that scares you a little bit about St. Louis.
Nice play by the Roach.
Is that the last time we faced them in St. Louis, both Wainwright and Carpenter didn't have their best stuff, and they totally shut us down then. It's been a struggle for the Dodgers against any other team's ace. Yep. Let's face it, all year long you face the other team's ace, which that's not to say that most teams don't struggle against the other team's ace, but you got to figure out a way to beat them sooner or later if you're going to win any championships.
In fact, one of the Cardinal aces, Adam Wainwright, is going tonight against the Rockies in Colorado, who sent Ubaldo Jimenez. That game has impact. Both those teams, how they fare tonight, will impact on the Dodgers. Pierre, a triple and a run scored tonight. And now he's got us. Nope, it's going to fall into the glove of Luis Cruz. First 1-2-3 inning for Mahalo. The Pirates' 8-9-1 hitters will bat against Randy Wolf in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, beginning with Luis Cruz. Has 9 hits in 48 at-bats. That's a 188 batting average. He's basically been a lifelong minor leaguer. Mahalam on deck and McCutchen to follow. And a strike, 0-1. Cruz hit .253 at AAA Indianapolis this year.
What's wrong with that? I think that was my career average.
But it wasn't in Indianapolis. Well, it looks like he may have sliced himself a double. A grounds rule double at that to begin the bottom half of the 3rd. Cruz into the deep blue aboard the first ever Dodgers fantasy cruise. Join Steve Garvey and other Dodger greats for a 7-day carnival cruise along the Mexican Riviera. November the 15th through the 22nd. To book your cabin or learn more, call 323-224-2646 or visit Dodgers.com/cruise. So a leadoff double for Cruz. And Paul Mahalam in a sacrifice situation. He's been good at him 6 times this year. Throw down at second base, and he is out at second base. Maybe that's why he's a lifelong minor leaguer. What a throw by Martin.
This is a great play set up between Martin and Fricall. If it's a missed ball or they don't get the bunt down, or if it's just a ball, Fricall's going to sneak in behind the runner just like he did. I'm not sure if he actually reached back there and made the tag.
But it was a perfect throw.
Yeah. Good thing about the way Fricall positioned himself there, he kind of screened Adrian Johnson, the second base umpire, away from the play. So whether he touched him or not, it looked like he did.
Even if he didn't, he did.
Yeah. As long as Johnson says so.
Boy, Rafael Fricall Picking the perfect time of the year to get hot on both sides of the ball. Into the dirt. Martin will have to finish off the strikeout by throwing to Loretta, which he does. 2 out. Second strikeout for Wolf.
Well, Raffy's just on fire now, and people talk about it all the time. Baseball's such a long season, and you go through ups and downs during the season, but you want to be on an up at the end of the year if you're a playoff team. It's a battle to get into the playoffs, but it's the hottest team that wins, not necessarily the best team.
He is playing the last month of this season as he did the first month of last season before his back went out on him. Then he had to have the surgery, and for the first almost 5 months this year, I'm not sure in his own mind he was totally healthy. And then finally it started to kick in, maybe the second or third week of August, where he felt like he was confident in all of his movements. He's running better. He's stealing more bases. Just watching him go side to side, playing defensive shortstop. He's really had a terrific final month of the year. And he began the night with a base hit. Meanwhile, 3 balls and no strikes to McCutcheon. Bounced to short his first at bat.
To me, it's the stolen bases that's starting to tell me that he thinks he's more healthy, because you're not going to put undue pressure on yourself or strain on your body if you're not feeling like you can handle it. And he's starting to run again. I mean, he hadn't been stealing any bases all season long, and now he's starting to pick that up. So that tells me, hey, he's not afraid to do it.
At one point, he went 43 games in a row without stealing a base, but since the 5th of September, he's stolen 4. On 3 and 2, McCutcheon, a slow roller, going to be a tough play. Oh, look at the play by Belliard. Got him! Oh, man! Ronnie Belliard with the bare hand play. Well, the Dodgers flashing some leather tonight, too. No runs and a hit. And Belliard makes the play and gets Village by that much. Welcome back to Pittsburgh, and you have arrived just in the nick of time for the Aflac trivia question. Let's go back 40 years, shall we? Dodgers ranked 4th with 10 division titles. Can you name the 3 clubs with more? We'll have the answer for you in the bottom of the 4th. Manny Ramirez, a double in his first at bat, knocking in the only run of the game. Time is called as a ball came out of the stands in right field. So Manny with the RBI in the first inning, 62 RBIs on the season. Kemp and Belliard to follow. The Dodgers with a 1-0 lead. Well, this time last year, Manny was the hottest player on the planet. He has struggled, though, in the last month or so. 2 balls and no strikes.
2 for his last 14 coming into this game, and then he drove that double to the opposite field. That's a good sign for him.
Hitting .284 over the past month. For most players, that's pretty good. He was hitting about 400 upon his arrival from the Dodgers this time a year ago.
They show up everywhere to see him.
Three balls and a strike to Ramirez. Rockies and Cardinals get underway soon. Wainwright and Jimenez. Three and two to Manny as we begin the 4th inning. Had you ever seen, thinking back to Manny a year ago, a player that hot, that long, in games of import as Ramirez was?
The only guy that I could think of that was even close to that, and you can point to this year too with Matt Holliday and the move over to St. Louis, but when McGuire got traded to St. Louis after he was in Oakland and then just went nuts with that team.
Leadoff walk for Manny here in the 4th. But when he arrived last year at the end of July, the 1st of August, his first game, The Dodgers were in second place. They had a long way to go to try to catch Arizona. And every game had implications. And it seemed every game that had implications, there was a pivotal moment in that game. And Manny was at the plate and he delivered. And oh, by the way, hit near 400.
Drove in 53 runs in 53 games. And in those 53 games, led the team in home runs.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal to watch. You know, Manny still has some of that in him, I'm sure. And be nice to see it come back out again.
Matt Kemp flied to center field in his first at bat, a ball and no strikes. 2 balls and no strikes. Belliard is on deck. And now Ryan Domit and Paul Maholm will have a conversation.
When you have the kind of talent that Manny has, it's really difficult, I think, to live up to your own legend. But obviously he could get hot again and swing the bat the way he did last year.
What's so fascinating between last year and this year, it was Manny who was leading the young kids. This year, the young kids are leading Manny. Ethier and Kemp and Loney.
Well, there's no question what he did coming in last year taught those guys how to play with fun and personality.
To center field. McCutchen has room. One out in the 4th. Manny went halfway, then came sliding hard back into the bag. Now here's Ronnie Belliard. Fly to left field in his first at bat. Hitting over 300 since coming to the Dodgers. A lefty by the name of Victor Garate, one of the free agent signings the Dodgers made in the offseason. Venezuela went to Washington in the deal. Belliard on the year, 9 home runs and 37 runs batted in.
Thought it was pretty funny after the ball game last night, sitting down in the hotel bar down there, and there was a group of people, group of women.
Wait, you were in the hotel bar?
Sitting next to you.
Oh.
A group of women sitting at the table next to us. When one of the girls sitting there recognized Manny when he walked in, she leaned over to one of her friends and she goes, "I know that guy. I know who he is. He used to play in Boston with Big Papi and that Rice Krispie guy." And I started, Rice Krispie guy. She was referring to Cocoa Crisp. Thought that was kind of funny.
Manny taking third fiddle to the Rice Krispie guy.
The Rice Krispie guy.
3 balls and no strikes to Belliard. Manny's at first, 4th inning. The Dodgers a 1-0 lead. Manny drove in Juan Pierre, who tripled back in the first inning. 3-1 to Belliard with Mark Loretta on deck. About 5 o'clock this afternoon, or not quite 3 hours ago, this game was very much in doubt. It had rained all day. The 3-1 swing and a little tapper. This is going to be a tough play. Same play that Wolf tried to make, and Wolf made it. Maholm didn't. And the Dodgers have first and second, 1 out.
Well, it's a tough play. I mean, especially for a left-hander, you got to get down there and turn your back to the play before you can throw it. And then you're pretty much throwing blind. And as we said, the play that Randy Wolf made was outstanding, but it could have been a disaster as well. That could have gotten past and down the line, and their guys could have been running for days. Here's the Randy Wolf play. He's literally falling down, has no idea where he's throwing it. Great play by Loretta over there, too. When you're talking about Millage, who can run a little bit, if that ball squirts down the line, he ends up on third base.
So now the Dodgers have first and second, 1 out. And Loretta, who signaled to right field in his first at-bat, has driven one into left field in his second at-bat, and that will score Manny. Belliard goes to third. The throw is not in time, and arriving safely at second base is Loretta with an RBI and his second hit of the night, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead.
Well, that was just off the hands. We know Mark Loretta can hit him like that. Gets jammed down the line, and you know, if you're the left fielder here, unless you're sure you can get Belliard at third base, you got to come up throwing to second on this. You know, that's not a real close play at third. He's easily safe. And Loretta, the veteran, knowing what he's doing and knowing how to run the bases, ends up at second base. Now, you get him in the second base, you don't have a double play situation anymore. You got to keep him off the second.
And a base hit by Martin could conceivably score 2. Runners are at second and third with 1 out. Russell bounced into a 5-4-3 double play on the only pitch he saw in his first at bat.
That's part of the reason. You know, Russell's prone to double plays, and you have to, you know, those are the kind of things that as an outfielder you have to think of all that stuff before the play is made.
Swing and a miss. 1-1. Well, that's the great thing about baseball. Critics will say, oh, the game is too slow. But as soon as a ball is in play, it's as quick a game as there is. And so the whole idea for a defensive player and a hitter for that matter, have some idea of what you're going to do if the ball comes to you, or in the case of a hitter, where you want to hit the ball. And so in the case of Millage, as you pointed out, his best throw would have been to second base, not to third.
And it's the same question that you ask yourself over and over. Maybe as many pitches are thrown in a ball game on your side, maybe 120 times a night, you ask yourself, what am I going to do if the ball gets hit to me?
And Martin hits one to short. Coming home to score is Belliard, an RBI hit for Martin, actually a fielder's choice. And that gives the Dodgers a 3-0 lead.
And basically what you're looking at right there is there's your double play that gets you out of the inning if you make the right play on the one before.
And Belliard knew exactly what to do on a contact play. And so the Dodgers now with the 3-0 lead, the RBI for Martin on the fielder's choice. And they will intentionally walk Orlando Hudson to face Randy Wolf. But be careful of what you might wish for, because Randy has 11 runs batted in this year.
And he'll take it personally. You'll walk a guy to get to me. I'll show you.
So Orlando Hudson goes to first. Time now for the batting stance guy. Brought to you by Blue Shield of California. Guess who he's impersonating here? We'll let you know after the game. Wolf lined to first base in his first at bat. 2 on, 2 out. 2 in here in the fourth. The Dodgers with a 3-0 lead. And a breaking ball from Mahalam for a strike. 3 runs and 6 hits for the Dodgers. A run and 3 hits in the first inning. 2 runs and 3 hits here in the fourth. And it's 0-2.
Well, it's nice having you back, Charlie, if only for one day, and you got the team off to a good start.
Oh, I had a lot to do with it.
As far as you know.
Well, we see one another every day. And a slow roller. Mahalam covering it first, and that is that. A walk, a couple of hits, and 2 runs for the Dodgers in the fourth. 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of the day. And by Mazda's Summer Drive-Off event. Drive off with the best deals of the summer on a fun-to-drive Mazda. Rolling on the river. Time now for the Aflac trivia question and answer. At the top of the inning, we asked, it was 1969. The Dodgers ranked 4th with 10 division titles. They're working on their 11th. What are the other 3 clubs that have more? The Braves, the Yankees, and the Athletics. Well, the Braves, of course, with Bobby Cox, went to the playoffs 14 years in a row. And if the Dodgers win tonight, Joe Torre
ties them up.
Yeah, we'll go 14 consecutive years into the playoffs. Andy LaRoche, the former Dodger, fly to right field in his first at-bat.
It's almost an entire season more of playoff games.
Well, that's the thing that's so remarkable about, for instance, say the Yankee playoff runs all those years. As you suggested, that's as many as 19 additional games, pressurized games.
Every year.
A year, and you multiply that by whatever number of years you want to. And it's an additional season for these guys. And a guy like oh, you see the rain. Well, we figured it was going to start raining about 90 minutes into this game. At least that's what the forecast was. And that's the kind of weather we expect to be playing through from now until whenever the game is over. But at least we got almost an hour without the rain. Chance of rain tomorrow, and even better. Oh, there's a fly ball to left field. Back goes Manny. And LaRoche has left the yard. So the former Dodger, Andy LaRoche, with his 10th home run of the year. Wolf surrenders his 24th long ball of the season. The Pirates are on the board. The Dodger lead is 3-1.
Well, they always knew he could hit. And he gives it a good run. This ball's right down the middle, and he just yanks it down the left field line. It looked to me like Manny may have jumped too soon for this ball. He's up. Yeah, that ball was really just came down in about the second row of the seats. He's already coming down, and now the ball lands behind him. I don't know if he would have caught it anyway, but timing wasn't quite there.
So LaRoche with 10 home runs and 53 runs batted in. And certainly is happy to hit one against the team that traded him away. And when he went away, who came to the Dodgers? Guy who tried to catch the home run ball. Manny Ramirez. Garrett Jones, a double in his first at-bat. And it's 1-2.
There's that weird three-way deal with the Red Sox that sent Moss here as well, and Manny to the Dodgers and Jason Bay to the Red Sox.
Well, without criticism, one hopper. Nice play by Hudson from his knees, not in time. Well, that one just ate up Orlando Hudson. It was scalded by Garrett Jones. He beats the throw, and there's still nobody out here in the fourth.
Hudson got just tied up. He's going to his right there, and that ball took a weird skip hop on him. Up off the top of his thigh, and then it's like, well, I don't know how I'm going to make this play anymore. Of course, Jones is a great athlete. I mean, he's a big kid, but he gets down the line pretty well.
There is a reason why the Pittsburgh Pirates have not had a winning season since 1992. In that blockbuster three-way deal of July 31st of last year, the Red Sox get Jason Bay. The Dodgers get Manny Ramirez. The Pirates get Andy LaRoche and Brandon Moss. What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're real happy with the way that LaRoche has played for him, but you're just talking about a talent level difference.
Yeah, no disrespect to LaRoche or Moss or anybody else, but if you're going to trade stars and you get serviceable players in return, little wonder then that the Pirates are 38 games under 500 this year.
17th straight losing season. They would have to sweep the Dodgers in this series just to finish at 500 at home. May or may not happen.
And since 2000, since the turn of the century, the Dodgers and the Pirates have played 71 times. The Dodgers have won 50 of them. And here at PNC Park, even with the loss last night, the Dodgers are 23-8. against the Pirates here in Pittsburgh. 2-2. Past Tony Beasley, the third base coach.
Yeah, when that game got late last night and the Dodgers were losing, I think there was a few Dodger fans out there wishing that Olmedo Signs was around to come out and pitch hit.
Remember what he used to do here?
Come in and just absolutely kill the Pirates. Olmedo wouldn't play for 2 weeks, but if they got to Pittsburgh, he was in the lineup.
Oh, man. Here's a 2-2. Killer tomato. Domit goes down swinging. That's the third strikeout for Wolf. It's the first out of the fourth, and it brings up Lastings Miller.
Pretty good location. This is one of those curveballs down in the zone where you want to get a guy to swing through it, but you don't really want to throw it for a strike, and that's what he did.
Millage was robbed of a hit by Randy Wolf in his first at-bat. One of the best plays you'll see a pitcher make all season. A little nubber up the third base line, and Wolf threw from the seat of his pants and got the very fast Millage by a step. Steve Pearce is on deck. A steady drizzle falling now. Game time temperature was 59, and I can assure you it's not gotten any warmer.
Fall is in the air finally, isn't it?
Two more games with the Pirates. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 into right field, and having a hard time with it, perhaps with the lights, was Matt Kemp. He makes the catchers 2 out.
A little bit of a difference for Matt Kemp playing right field tonight instead of his customary center field, and it's a different look for him, and every ballpark has a different situation with the lights, and it's a really tough thing to practice. You never get to practice under the lights. You never really see a play that's going to happen in a ball game that you can duplicate during your day when you're working out earlier on.
That's a real good point. You never take batting practice when it's dark.
And so when someone hits a ball and it's in the lights, it's the first time you experience it. So good luck. Raining out there, swirling around. These guys have tough conditions to make a lot of money under.
That's why they get the big bucks, huh?
They do indeed.
A ball and a strike and 2 outs. Pearce fly to right field in his first at-bat. He had a home run against the Dodgers last week back in Los Angeles. It'll be a tough play for Furcal. Got him by a step. Again, Rafael Furcal. That back is 100%, and he's playing like it. But the Buccos put a run on the board as we head to the 5th. Top of the order in the top of the 5th for the Dodgers for Furcal and Pierre and Ramirez against Paul Maholm, who has thrown 62 pitches to this point of the ball game through 4. Only about half of them for strikes. He hasn't struck out anybody. He's walked 2. The Dodgers have made him work. Furcal is 1 for 2. Led off the game with a single to left, tried to stretch it into a double, and Lastings Millage threw him out at second base. One hop, but right at Luis Cruz. Time now for the Jack in the Box. Outside the box. A little more than a year ago, the last time Juan Pierre hit one out. And wouldn't you know it, he hit it here.
He hit that about 7-8 rows up the seats, too. Gave him a little silent treatment.
At Pablo Ozuna and
lots of guys that
aren't there anymore were there to greet him then. Angel Baroa, Nomar was in that group there.
Delwyn Young.
That's right. Pierre tonight a triple and line to short. 1 out in the 5th inning. Manny's on deck. To Tomorrow morning at 10:30, Clayton Kershaw against Daniel McCutcheon.
See, if you're our producer, Brad Zager, you spend nights up all night wondering when to play that highlight of Juan Pierre going deep in hopes that he goes deep right now, right after you play the highlight. So he's got his fingers crossed down there in the truck.
Two and two to Juan Pierre.
That's what you call a shot in the dark, I think.
That's what Pierre's home run was.
We talked to him after the game there, and he said, I have to do that once a season just to let the boys know I'm strong.
Well, did he make the catch? Oh, what a play by McCutcheon. Second base umpire Adrian Johnson right there to make the call. Terrific catch by McCutcheon.
Watch the other corner outfielders too. Watch them come into the play to back up in case he doesn't make the catch. That's just a brilliant play right there. But his two corner outfielders were right there backing this play up the way they should, because if this ball gets by him, Juan Pierre might have a home run and it would be an inside the Parker, but they were out there and doing their job.
Well, the Pirates have made the fewest errors of any club in the National League. And a spectacular catch. Pierre is robbed by McCutcheon. And now here's Manny, who drills a base hit into left field.
You don't want to catch that ball. Cruz is at short saying, I am so happy that ball went over my head. Might have knocked him into left field if he tried to catch it. Hey, look at the numbers, and we talked about it before with the ability of Manny Ramirez and how hot he can get and how good he can be when he is. He needs just one home run again. For 15 straight years of 20+ home runs, there's only 4 other players in the history of the game to do that.
Matt Kemp to third base. LaRoche the force out, and the inning is over. No runs and a hit at the halfway mark. It's the Dodgers 3 and the Pirates 1. As we look at the out-of-town scoreboard, the Philly game is important because the Dodgers have a 2.5 game lead on Philadelphia for best record in the National League. The Rockies and the Cardinals are just underway in Colorado. There is no score there, but there's a terrific pitching matchup going on with Adam Wainwright going against Ubaldo Jimenez. San Diego and Arizona doesn't really matter to very many people.
Except their moms.
2 balls, no strikes to Delwyn Young as we begin the bottom half of the 5th inning. Dodgers with a win tonight are in the playoffs no matter what. And a high chopper to short. Burkall has time to throw out his old buddy Delwyn Young.
Wow, Delwyn Young is really scuffling now. Came in on a 3 for 43 and 8 for 78. He's now 8 for his last 80. He was hitting about 315 before that. Way down to 260.
Brings up Luis Cruz. He doubled in his first at-bat, and when Paul Maholm attempted to sacrifice him, Maholm missed the pitch, and from second base, Cruz was thrown out on a dart of a throw by Russell Martin. And Wolf falls behind 2-0. Randy tonight has struck out 3, hasn't walked anybody. He's given up a run in 4 hits. The Pirates' only run of the game, an Andy LaRoche home run in the 4th inning. 2-1. Randy Wolf in his last 8 starts is 6-0 with an ERA of under 2.5. And when you consider his first 24 starts weren't all that bad, had a record of 5 and 6, ERA of 3.5, but had those 13 no decisions. Easy play for Matt Kemp. Fans join the Dodgers a week from today when they take on the Rockies, and the first 50,000 fans in attendance receive a 2010 Dodgers team photo calendar presented by the Hart Gallery. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. 2 gone in the 5th, Paul Maholm.
A lot of times when a pitcher gets a no decision, it's just kind of, you kind of deserve one. You kind of hang around the game, nothing much going on. By the time you get out of there, when the game's over, you didn't even have anything to do with what the decision was. But if you're going to remember back, I mean, many of those 13 no decisions were games that he should have won. And so if you say out of the 13 he should have won 8, and let's be fair, give him a couple losses. I mean, look at his record. He'd be 19-8 right now.
Things got so frustrating for the pride of Pepperdine, one of the brightest, most grounded players in the game. He changed his jersey number from 21 to 43, and it paid off.
Well, he was 3-3 when it happened, and so he changed to 43 to hope that his record would go to 4-3. He told me that he's always worn number 43. It was the number he wanted to wear. He didn't understand why he was wearing 21.
Well, that is strikeout number 4 for number 43. 3-1 Dodgers as we head to inning number 6. Dodger defense has been spectacular tonight, beginning with Randy Wolf robbing Lasting's Village. Russell Martin throwing out Luis Cruz. And Ronnie Belliard with a barehanded play getting Lasting's Millage. Check out the new R Performance vehicles at your local Jaguar dealer or on JaguarUSA.com. Speaking of Ronnie Belliard, seamless transition. Belliard has a hit and a run scored tonight. The Dodgers have 7 hits to go with their 3 runs. The Pirates 1 run, 4 hits. Neither team has made an error. Both teams have played spectacular defense. Belliard with the infield hit in the 4th inning. Takes under the knees 1-0. Ronnie was supposed to start at second base tonight, but because of the weather and the steady drizzle continues, it's kind of lightened up here in the last few minutes. Casey Blake still bothered by that left hamstring. Joe Torre decided to sit him out at least another night. So Belliard, who was supposed to start at second base, moved over to third, and Orlando Hudson was inserted into the lineup. And Belliard takes a strike. It's 2-1. Belliard, Loretta, and Martin will hit for the Dodgers in the 6th inning against Paul Maholm. After tonight, just 7 games left. Tomorrow and Monday here in Pittsburgh. Tuesday and Wednesday in San Diego. Next Thursday is an off day, and the Dodgers are keeping their fingers crossed that next weekend's games with the Rockies will be nothing more than a tune-up for the playoffs. Well, Joe Torre's been down this road before. 13 consecutive playoff appearances. One more win, it'll be 14. Nice backhanded play by LaRoche. 1 gone. And so Joe Torre, Steve, obviously wants to get this deal done as quickly as possible, if for no other reason to get his rotation in order and get his regulars a little bit of rest.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different in this situation, though, because of the necessity to try to win best record in the National League. So it's, clinching a division is one thing. They definitely want to do that, but you can't really take your foot off the pedal too much if you want to try to have the best record, because certainly St. Louis and the Phillies aren't going away as far as the way they're going to play their game. So I think it will make a big difference to Joe. I think at the end of the day, he would rather have his rotation set up the way he wants it than have the best record, but he'll take both.
Loretta, who's 2 for 2 and an RBI tonight, starting at first base with the lefty Maholm. Starting, Loney got the night off. The Phillies at the moment have a 4-3 lead. Correction, 4-2 lead after 3 innings in Milwaukee.
I would assume the way that Joe will start thinking about his rotation will be with about 5 games to go. Because of the 6-man rotation, he can mess around with guys. Randy Wolf is really the only guy that he's probably going to keep on a 5-day rotation. Anyone else is pretty much interchangeable. So with 5 days to go, he'll decide who he wants to his opening day starter for the most part and make sure those guys are in line to do it. Now, the tough part is I believe that the rotation will be different depending on who they play.
Luis Cruz easily throws out Loretta, 2 out. Meanwhile, in Colorado with 1 out in the top of the first, the Cardinals on an RBI hit by Matt Holliday have a 1-0 lead. In fact, they have just scored a second run. So it's 2-0. Still batting in the first inning, which means if the Dodgers can hang on and win this thing tonight, and the Cardinals should beat Colorado, the Dodgers' magic number would be down to 2. But miles to go before we and they sleep.
And if that holds up, knowing that the Braves won already today and Colorado loses, boy, the Braves are all of a sudden right in to the wild card picture. That would keep, what's that, makes them 2 games back.
2 back in the loss column, 2.5 overall. And of course, now in the final 10 days of the season, it becomes the all-important loss column. It's not so important the first 4 or 5 months of the year, but you can't get those games back. And it's 3 balls and no strikes.
What do you think, Charlie? I mean, I believe that the starting rotation and the order in which they pitch will be different if they play the Phillies with all the lefties in that lineup. And I would not be surprised to see Randy Wolf being your opening day starter in the rotation if that's the case. And I think it would be different if they play the Cardinals.
Do you not think that Wolf will be the starter opening day against the Cardinals?
Not necessarily. I'm not sure that he wouldn't want to go with a righty, whoever that may be. I don't know that Wolf is your opening day starter regardless. He could be. I mean, as we talked about in the opening of the show, he has been their best pitcher for 2 months.
And he's a veteran who does not wilt under the hot lights. On the other hand, Hiroki Kuroda would be a very interesting fit. As we saw in the postseason last year, Kuroda does not shrink away from those big games. And Kuroda, you know, he missed 10 games or 10 starts with the oblique, missed about 3 starts after that horrific comebacker. And so as a result, Hiroki Kuroda, here it is this late into the season, has thrown only 113 innings. So his arm is certainly well rested, and boy, he's pitched awfully well since coming back.
And that's made it easier on Joe Torre, because I think he would have had some decisions to make. Padilla and Garland have looked good.
Hudson is out, and so are the Dodgers. We head to the bottom of the 6th. They lead the Pirates 3-1.
Welcome back to the Coors Light 6th inning, and now it's time for the Coors Light freeze cam. And you can't get much more picture perfect than Andy LaRoche in that swing like that. Look at his head right down on the ball. LaRoche is a pretty good low ball hitter for being a right-hander. Gets it into the second row of the seats, and that's just enough for a home run for LaRoche. And that was the Coors Light freeze cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. LaRoche's 10th home run of the season. He's a .280 hitter against left-handers this year.
Top of the order for the Pirates in the bottom half of the 6th inning, beginning with Andrew McCutchen. The Red has got no chance, and it's 0-1. McCutchen robbed of a base hit by Ronnie Belliard. That barehanded throw on the swinging roller in his last at-bat. Dodgers 3 runs and 7 hits. Pirates a run and 4. And the Dodgers getting some help from the Cardinals in Colorado tonight. Cardinals scored 3 in the top of the first against Ubaldo Jimenez. And the Cardinals are sending Cy Young Award candidate Adam Wainwright out to the hill in search of his 19th win. The Phillies lead Milwaukee 4-2 in the 4th. Dodger lead over Philadelphia 2.5, 2 in the loss column, 3 over the Cardinals, 3 in the loss column, for the best record in the National League and home field advantage throughout the postseason. Juan Pierre's got an easy play. As you point out, Steve, Atlanta's already won today. They routed Washington 11-5. Colorado loses tonight. Don't look now, but the Braves would only be 2 back in the loss column in the wild card race. Atlanta finishes up at home against Washington and Florida, their final 7 games. Manny with 2 gone. The Rockies are at home with Milwaukee this coming week and finish up with the Dodgers. So it is conceivable that the Dodgers will be in rehearsal mode and that the Rockies will be battling for dear life next weekend.
Yes, they will be. I think the Rockies will be battling for dear life regardless for the rest of the season, no question. I mean, either they're going to fade out of it or they're going to stay right in it. One or the other, they're going to have to be playing very tight baseball, much more pressure-packed baseball than anybody else.
And all along, we merely assumed that the Dodgers would play the Cardinals or the Phillies. Now, if the Braves become the wild card, the Dodgers play the Braves in the first round, beginning at home.
It's no day in the park either with that pitching staff.
Nope. Oh, this is the best time of year, huh? Well, Joe Torre. Dodgers win tonight. He will have led his teams 14 years in a row into the postseason, matching only Bobby Cox. And Bobby, of course, next year will be his final year as the manager of the Braves. Wouldn't it be something if Cox and Torre have at it in the first round of the playoffs? The Atlanta Braves for the last, 2 months have been flying under the radar screen. The Dodgers, on the other hand, have been in the sights of everybody. We head to the 7th. They lead 3-1. Back here in Pittsburgh, a chilly, drizzly night. Beautiful skyline as we take a look from PNC Park in Pittsburgh across the Allegheny River. Randy Wolf leads off in the 7th inning and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Randy has been as he has been lately. He's given up a run and 4 hits, and he has thrown only 77 pitches through 6 innings.
Quiet domination.
He really is a quiet assassin, isn't he? He just goes about his business.
77 pitches, 52 strikes. Into the 7th now here when he takes the mound again. Cruising.
And he gives the bullpen a rest. Here's the 0-2. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He has struck out 5, hasn't walked anybody. Gave up a solo home run to Andy LaRoche in the 4th inning. A couple of doubles and a single, and that's it. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Colin Pierre to follow here in the 7th inning. Cardinals with a 3-0 lead. The Rockies are hitting in the bottom of the 1st at Coors Field. They've got 1st and 2nd with 1 out against Adam Wainwright. Atlanta has won, and Philadelphia is leading 4-2 in the 4th in Milwaukee. Here's a 2-2 to Wolf. Paul Maholm's first strikeout of the game. Time now for Lexus's pursuit of perfection. A year and a day ago, the Dodgers clinched their postseason appearance. They, of course, would go on to beat the Cubs, sweep them in the 1st round, and then the Phillies would finish off the Dodgers' great run. Rafael Furcal, 1 for 3. Boy, every game down the stretch was nearly life and death for the Dodgers last year. Easy play for LaRoche. 2 out. This year it's been more businesslike.
Spending a lot of time in first place, that's for sure. Just kind of hanging out, playing great baseball. That great start that they got off to was just a blessing, you know, that if you go through a little bit of a tough time, you're not going to have to swallow too hard.
The Dodgers have been in first place for 168 days.
Got to that point a couple months ago where the lead got cut down to 2 in Colorado, playing against Colorado, and then they beat them up pretty good and stretched that lead right back out again.
And now the Rockies have fallen on hard times. The Giants were there and then they faded. And then all of a sudden here's Atlanta rising from the ashes. Pierre tonight's got a triple, was robbed of a base hit in his last at-bat on a sprawling catch by center fielder Andrew McCutchen. Easy play for Cruz. An easy inning for Paul Maholm. 7th inning stretch in Pittsburgh, and the Dodgers lead 3-1. It's time to bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Ryan Domit begins the bottom of the 7th. The ball outside, 1-0. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Randy Wolf delivers high, 2 balls and no strikes. Next pitch for Wolf will be but his 80th. The Dodgers 3 runs and 7 hits. And the Pirates 1 run and 4 base hits. Domit and Millage and Pierce to hit. And Randy falls behind 3-0.
Look at Domit's numbers on the season. 244. He's a 350 hitter against right-handed pitching, but just 204 against lefties. He's one of those guys, and they're out there more than you might think. A lot of right-handed hitters would rather face right-handed pitching than they would lefties.
A 4-pitch walk to Domit to begin the 7th inning, and Hung-Chi Kuo immediately goes to work. First walk of the game given up by Wolf, and Rick Honeycutt is going to go out. Have a chat with Randy, and Russell Martin will join them there. Why is it, it seems, that left-handed batters have a more difficult time against left-handed pitching than right-handed batters do against right-handed pitching?
I think because your whole life that's what you grow up doing. And there's far fewer left-handed pitchers, and if you're a left-handed hitter, you just don't see them very often. And the only good ones are in the big leagues. So if you're a right-hander, you grow up your whole life with the right-hander throwing at you as a right-handed hitter.
I remember when David Justice was playing, he had uncommon success. He was a left-handed batter against left-handed pitching, and he grew up in Cincinnati as Millage squares a bunt. Dodgers have already picked off a would-be or a runner with a sacrifice that didn't work out too well. Justice, growing up in Cincinnati, his best friend was left-handed, and so they always played stick ball together, and eventually little league and high school ball. And that is the reason he said he had such good success throughout his major league career against left-handed pitching.
If you're a left-handed hitter, you grow up seeing so much right-handed pitching, and any kind of a breaking ball breaks towards you. And then when you see a tough lefty and the balls start breaking away from you, that's a very foreign thing for you to have to deal with. Whereas if you're a right-hander, you see all that right-handed pitching, you're used to the ball breaking away from you.
Fly ball left field, easy play for Manny, strolling on in. Wind is playing a bit of a role on that one, and that's the first out of the 7th. Rockies failed to score in their half of the first inning. They had a couple of base runners aboard against Adam Wainwright. Redbirds with a 3-0 lead hitting in the 2nd inning. Dodger fans are Brewers fans tonight. Milwaukee scored a run in the 4th inning, and it is a 4-3 Philadelphia lead. Meanwhile, Joe Torre is going to come and get Randy Wolf. Hung-Chi Kuo will be on his way in when we come back. If the Dodger bullpen can keep up its end of the bargain, Randy Wolf will win his 12th game of the year. He was outstanding in his 6th and a 3rd innings. Time now for the Mercedes-Benz E-Class Attention Assist of the game, and Randy Wolf with the defensive play of the game too, getting Lasting's millage on a beautiful play. Back in the 2nd inning. So now here's Hung-Chi Kuo. What a year Kuo has had.
You could say that almost every year for him.
If he can keep that elbow healthy, man. 33rd appearance.
Giving up 19 hits in almost 28 innings.
Left-handers are hitting 129 against him. Righties, oh man, 224.
Struck out 32 and walked 11. In his first couple of years, didn't seem like he really wanted to throw the ball over the plate. And then he realized, I have pretty good stuff. When I do throw it over the plate, they don't square me up too often.
32 strikeouts in 27 2/3 innings. Steve Pearce has some power and takes high. 2 balls and no strikes. The Dodger bullpen all year long has been the best in baseball, statistically and anecdotally. Their collective ERA out of the pen is 3.11. Next best bullpen, the Giants, about 3.5. And opposing teams against the Dodger bullpen hitting .228 this year. So Kuo, his role is to finish out the 7th inning. Delwyn Young is on deck. And then probably see George Sherrill in the 8th. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pearce, who's 0 for 2 tonight, having flied to right and bounced to short. Pearce hitting but .200, 4 home runs and 15 runs batted in. But he hit a home run against Chad Billingsley back at Dodger Stadium a week ago this past Tuesday.
He's got some pop, but really, if you look at this lineup, if you let 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters hurt you in this lineup, you're doing something wrong. Pearce is in a 4 for 38. Young's 8 for 80. Cruz is a 188 hitter. And then the pitcher spot. I was a little surprised. Kind of a quick hook, I think, tonight for Joe Torre and Randy Wolf. Only thrown, what, mid-80s, 100 or 85 pitches, somewhere around there.
83, 54 for strikes. But the leadoff hitter, Domit, here in the 7th, walked on 4 pitches. 2-2 to Pearce with 1 out in the 7th, and the Dodgers lead by 2. Nice play by Russell Martin. Meanwhile, the count is full, and it'll be interesting to see, does John Russell send his runner, Domit, with 1 out.
Well, if the score was 3-1 with Pittsburgh winning, I think you would do it, but I don't think he can afford to have a strike him out, throw him out situation.
Domit has 4 stolen bases, but he is a catcher as well, so let's see. On 3-2, he stays put, and a line drive. The throw back to first is not in time. It kicks off the glove of Loretta, and Domit wisely stays put. There's 2 out. Had he been running, it would have been a double play.
I'll show you a big view of this play. Nice effort to try to get the double play. This ball just skips off of the glove of Loretta, and then he hustles after it. Look at Kuo sneaking in behind. Domet was aware that he was back there, but a nice little play by Quo, hustling over and being aware of what was going on. Sometimes pitchers and outfielders can become spectators really quick. It doesn't involve them to just stand there and watch.
Delwyn Young, 8 for his last 80.
Ouch.
0 for 2 tonight. Struck out and bounced out. Well, former Dodger Andy LaRoche gave the Pirates their only run back in the 4th inning with a home run to left. Quo on 1-0. Fouls it back, does Young, and it's 1-1.
It's a little surprising to see. Obviously, every hitter goes through some bad spells. This 8 for 80 is about what Andre Ethier had done earlier in the season. But the one thing that the Dodgers always thought about D-Y is that he could swing the bat. He can hit. They're having trouble finding a position for him. He's worked very, very hard at his defense since he's been over here with Pittsburgh, and he's done a nice job at second base. But this slump has just put him in a tailspin.
A ball and 2 strikes. Ramirez, Kemp, and Belliard will hit for the Dodgers in the 8th. They lead 3-1 with 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. One and 2 to DY. Just inside, 2-2. Bottom of the 5th in Milwaukee, and the Phillies with a 5-3 lead over the Brewers. And the Cardinals with a 3-0 lead. Rockies hitting in the bottom of the 2nd. The 2-2. Young won't go down without a fight. Clayton Kershaw in his first start since losing that battle with the right field wall against Daniel McCutchen tomorrow morning at 10:30. Prime Ticket will have that game, and Monday morning as well at 9:30. And the Dodgers fly to San Diego. The 2-2 inside, it gets past Russell Martin, and Domet goes to second base.
Well, he pretty much had Young set up for this pitch. Slider down and in. Young wouldn't bite on it. He struck out last time on that same pitch.
Off the heel of Martin's glove. Luis Cruz is due to hit next. So Delwyn Young, 6 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Full count, 2 out, bottom of the 7th. First and second, 2 out.
Kind of looking up the numbers for Luis Cruz before the game started tonight. Looked at his batting average against left-handers was just a .143, but then you look at his overall numbers. He's only hitting 200 on the year.
And with a base hit tonight, he is 5 for his last 30. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Fastball just too much for him. Well, it's not like manager John Russell's got the 27 Yankees on the bench for him. So even though he's got a 200 hitting shortstop batting here, doesn't have a whole lot to choose from on the bench either. And Quo quickly gets ahead, 0-2. George Sherrill begins to warm in the Dodger bullpen. We expect to see him in the 8th. And then Broxton in the 9th. This may well be a sign of things to come in about 12 days or so when the postseason begins. Quo unable to finish off.
Dodgers
either Young or Cruz.
Dodgers can run some nasty stuff at you in the bullpen when you're talking about Sherrill, who doesn't give up anything. Quo, who's just filthy. Broxton, who's been unbelievable lately.
Jonathan Broxton, in 72 and 2/3 innings, has struck out 109 batters, and folks are hitting 158 against him.
Strikes out 2 guys every time he comes out there.
So it seems. Here's the 0-2. Through the middle, a base hit for Cruz. It is now a 3-2 game. So 2 walks here in the 7th inning bite the Dodgers. Doman comes around to score for Luis Cruz, his 2nd RBI of the season. Well, Quo couldn't finish off Young. He would work out the walk. Couldn't finish off Cruz. He singles back through the middle.
Pretty productive at-bats over the last 2 guys there, both Delwyn Young and now Cruz. Cruz gets himself the base hit and drives in the run, but those guys really battled.
Rick Honeycutt talking with Ken Howell. How quickly can Sherrill be ready? And now the Dodgers are seemingly handing the game to the Pirates.
Well, that ball right there is a ball that Russell just gets a little bit lazy on, unless he got crossed up. But it looked like he was tracking the ball and heading towards where it was going. Not like he was surprised, but then just didn't get over there and catch it.
Well, that's the end of the line for Hung-Chi Quo. Now it's going to be up to George Sherrill to put out the fire. It's a 1-run game now. Dodger Baseball and Prime Ticket is brought to you by Shakey's Pizza. Honey Crunch, try Shakey's all-you-can-eat bunch of lunch. Pizza, chicken, and more served 11 to 2 daily only at your neighborhood Shakey's. Well, Hung-Chi Quo didn't have much tonight. He came in with 1 out and 1 on. Pierce would line out. Then Delwyn Young kept fouling pitches off till he worked out a walk. Luis Cruz, a 2-out single into center field. Then a wild pitch. So you've got Delwyn Young at 3rd base, Luis Cruz at 2nd base. And George Sherrill trying to save the bacon of Messrs. Quo and Wolf.
How often do you see a pitching change in the middle of an at-bat?
1 ball and no strikes. One ball and 1 strike. So George Sherrill making his 27th appearance of the season for the Dodgers. In 24 innings, 2 earned runs and 18 base hits. And now he's got to get out of this mess here in the bottom of the 7th. A base hit could conceivably give the Pirates the lead. Inside, 2-1.
None of those ball games that the Dodgers seem to play so many of them where you're seemingly in control. They're not scoring a lot of runs, but the entire game you just feel like they're sailing along in total control of the ball game, and then you look up and not so much.
Dodgers have played 48 1-run games this year. 28 and 20 in those close games. Here's a 2-1. Strike on the outside corner, 2-2. Andrew McCutchen is on deck.
My favorite quote in 1-run ball games is what Lance Berkman says all the time. One-run games can go either way, and they usually do.
Here's a 2-2. Just outside. Now the count is full.
Now Sherrill wanted that one, and let's see where the setup is for Russell Martin. Tried to frame it a little bit, and they just weren't biting.
Fielden Culbreth III, the home plate umpire, in his 13th big league season out of South Carolina. And now on 3-2. The bases are loaded. 3 walks by Dodger pitching here in the 7th inning. Against the team that has scored the fewest runs of any in the National League.
Watch Gerald. It almost looks like he's not even looking at home plate when he delivers the pitch. How quickly he turns and throws, and was just kind of let that one, didn't follow through all the way, and just kind of let that one ride up out of the strike zone.
Well, the Dodger bullpen, which has been so good all season long, struggling here in the 7th inning. Sherrill misses by a mile. McCutchen is 0 for 3. The bases are loaded. And a strike, 1-1. Delwyn Young at third, Luis Cruz at second, Robinson Diaz is at first. Dodgers nursing a precarious 3-2 lead. Strike.
McCutchen's got a lot of confidence in his ability to pick out a pitch to hit. He's basically stood up there with the bat on his shoulders for 3 pitches in a row.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Foul and out of play. The Pirates' team batting average this year is .252, and that's exactly what they hit with runners in scoring position. McCutchen is 5 for 9 with the bases loaded. Here's the 1-2. Popped up. Let's see, does Loretta have room? No. They've gone to the bottom of the 3rd in Colorado. The Cardinals a 3-0 lead there. Top of the 6th in Milwaukee. Phillies lead the Brewers 5-3. Here it's 3-2 Dodgers. Bases loaded, 2 out, and a ball and 2 strikes to McCutchen, a .278 hitter. And we'll do it again.
All McCutchen's trying to do right now is just drop the bat head through the hitting zone and hit it somewhere. Make some solid contact. He's waiting on it pretty well, and it seems to me he's actually had his better swings on the breaking ball from Sherrill. And I think Russell Martin wants to go out there and talk about what this next pitch selection should be.
As the conversation continues, Fielding Colford comes out to break it up. Well, Joe Torre wanted Quo in the 7th, Sherrill in the 8th, and Broxton in the 9th. We got Quo to face 3 batters. And all Randy can do is through the middle into center field for a hit. Young scores and Cruz scores, and the Pirates lead 4-3.
They tried to get up in the strike zone, but that's about belt high. Late in a count, if you're trying to get a strikeout with a fastball, you pretty much are trying to throw a ball, but that is belt high fastball right there. You could be a defensive hitter with a belt high fastball and 2 strikes and hit it.
3 walks kill the Dodgers here in the 7th. The Pirates with 2 hits, 3 runs, and lead 4-3. Now Andy LaRoche, who's homered in 3 at-bats. 0-2. So Randy Wolf will get a no decision, and at the moment Hung-Chi Kuo stands to lose the game. Now the Dodgers have 6 outs to figure out a way to score a run or more. To third base. That'll end the inning. An ugly inning at that. 3 walks, 2 hits result in 3 runs, and the Pirates lead. Well, now the Dodgers have to play come from behind baseball. Denny Bautista, the 6'7" drink of water, making his 13th appearance of the season for the Pirates. Dodgers have had 41 come from behind wins this year. 3 runs from the Pirates in the bottom of the 7th, helped by 3 walks by Dodger pitching. Wolf walked Doma to lead off the inning. Kuo walked Young on a full count pitch, unable to finish off DY, who fouled off a bunch of pitches. Luis Cruz, who has 1 RBI all this year until his last at bat, doubled his RBI total. And then Andrew McCutchen with a 2-out 2-run single into center field, a 3-run bottom of the 7th. And there is McCutchen, who has had an outstanding game tonight, above and beyond the hit and the 2 RBIs, has played some sensational defense in center field. Now it's up to Manny and Kemp and Belliard against Denny Bautista.
Well, Bautista's not had to face this type of strength in an order. He has made 4 straight scoreless outings, but before that he got scored upon in 3 of his 4. So this is a guy that can give it up a little bit.
When he first came up with the Orioles, they thought that this guy had the stuff to throw a perfect game, but they also realized he had the stuff to get torched. And so that has been his MO throughout his professional career. The Dodgers saw him a week ago Monday night in a 1/3 of an inning, a run and 3 base hits against him. 3 balls and no strikes to Manny, and that's the thing that drives managers and pitching coaches crazy about Bautista.
There's no question, when you take the lead, especially if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate team, you come back and take the lead against one of the best teams in baseball, your pitcher has to go out there that next inning and throw a 0 up.
3-1 to Ramirez, who has 2 hits, a single, a double, a walk, and a run scored tonight, and a run batted in. So the Dodgers in a state of shock here, as the Pirates scored 3 in the bottom of the 7th, helped by 3 walks. 3-2 to Manny.
Talking about Manny and his ability to consistently hit home runs. Just 1 home run away from hitting 20 home runs in 15 consecutive seasons, and only 4 other people have done that. Those guys, Aaron, Ruth, Bonds, and Willie Mays.
Good company.
Tall cotton.
3-2 to Ramirez, beginning the 8th inning. Works out the leadoff walk. The leadoff walk opened the door to a 3-run bottom of the 7th for the Pirates. And now here's Matt Kemp, who's hitless in 3 at-bats.
You get the feeling in this situation of the game, very late in the game, 8th inning, you've got a 1-run lead. Seems like the cardinal sin is to walk the leadoff hitter, but if it's Manny, sometimes it doesn't seem that bad. It's like you could walk him, and it might do more damage if you don't.
Matt Kemp with a base hit in 15 of his last 16 games. 0 for 3 tonight. He's due. High and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
Matt Kemp with over 100 RBIs now, and after just turning 25 years old, he's the second youngest Dodger ever to have a 100 RBI season. Tommy Davis was a little bit younger when he did it.
Young fans either certainly don't remember, and may not realize what a great player Tommy Davis was. A 1-1 swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Belliard is on deck. We're in the 8th inning. The Pirates scored 3 in the bottom of the 7th and lead the game for the first time tonight, 4-3. Manny is at first. Outside, 2-2. Belliard on deck, Loretta to follow. Bautista on in relief of Paul Maholm, who gave up 3 runs and 7 hits in 7 innings. Here comes the 2-2. Kemp stays alive. Matt with 177 base hits this year. That's the 6th highest in the National League. He's also scored 96 runs. He's 8th in the National League in that category, 3rd in the league with 34 stolen bases. A breakout season for Matt Kemp as well as Andre Ethier. Ethier had the night off tonight with Maholm starting. Now the 2-2. Ball strike 3, outside corner.
Well, Matty didn't expect it in that location. Didn't think it was a strike. He thought it was off the plate.
Well, that's 1 out in the 8th. And now Belliard, who has a hit and a run scored in 3 at-bats. Big swing by Belliard. One thing about Ronnie Belliard, he's never bashful about the big swing.
Loves the ball up. Swings at a lot of high fastballs. Now, you mentioned Andre Ethier being out of the lineup tonight. I was really thinking that it was time for a day off for Andre. Playing in a lot of games, you got to have him ready for the stretch. He was about 1 for his last 15. With the lefty going today, it was a good time to get him out of there.
Loney got the night off too, so they're on the bench. So is Casey Blake, Tomey and Mankiewicz, among others.
A lot of firepower off the bench if Joe Torre decides he needs it.
A ball, a strike, in and out in the 8th inning. Manny leads from first. Belliard delivers a single into left field. First and second with 1 man out. That brings up Mark Loretta. So the tying run is in scoring position. And speaking of firepower on the bench, James Loney is coming out to pinch hit for Mark Loretta.
Pirates do have a lefty down in the pen throwing right now. We'll see what John Russell counters with.
They have 2 lefties in their bullpen core, Phil DeMatre and Donnie Veal. We saw Veal last night. DeMatre is warming out there now. And the move is about to be made. John Russell is going to come and get him. 2 on, 1 out in the 8th inning. And the Dodgers try to scratch back, trailing 4-3.
Well, John Russell counters with Phil DeMatre. Got an ERA of 8.10. He's 0-2 on the season. There's the numbers. Just 10 innings pitched. You'll remember back on September 15th, he was the victim of Andre Ethier, one of his game-winning home runs. That gave Dumatre his first blown save and his first loss, all in one swing of the bat.
So James Loney will face Dumatre. Andre sits, watches, waits, blows a bubble. Well, the Dodgers gave up the lead in the bottom of the 7th, trying to take back what they gave up here in the 8th. Loney hitting .289 against left-handed pitching this year.
That's why James is the guy that you see off the bench first. Bring him in a situation where he can pinch hit against the righty. And then if the opposing manager does what they almost always do, go to the lefty, you still have a guy up there who can swing the bat against left-handers.
12 of his 13 home runs have come away from Dodger Stadium. Manny at second, Belliard is at first, so average speed on the bases. Now we've already seen an outfield assist tonight. 45 of them from the Pirate outfield. 2 balls and no strikes to Loney. Martin is on deck. And Hudson to follow. Cardinals lead the Rockies 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th in Denver. Dumatre on 2-0. Strike on the outside corner. Loney disbelieving.
You know, with the expanded rosters and the fact that the Dodgers now have actually more players available to Joe Torre, he has some decisions to make concerning Russell Martin and the on-deck circle. Russell's been struggling lately. Rarely pinch hits for Martin, but that might be something that might be crossing Joe Torre's mind. Considering you do have A.J. Ellis that can catch.
Right,
Osmus still sitting there. So it used to be a situation where you really couldn't pinch hit for the catcher because you only had one other available catcher. And if he goes in the game and breaks his finger, you got nobody left to catch.
From 2-0 to 2-2 to Loney with 2 on and 1 out in the 8th. Defensive swing on a breaking ball. He stays alive. The Brewers have tied it with the Phillies. It's 5-5 playing in the 7th inning in Milwaukee. Dumatre on 2-2 to James Loney. 3-2. Most of the night we've been playing the game in a steady drizzle. Most of the day we had heavy rain in Pittsburgh. Now on 3-2, Loney steps out of the batter's box. Can't imagine that the runners will be running, especially Loney, a left-handed batter. 1-run game. The Dodgers are down. They stay put, and Loney takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Well, Dodger pitching gave up 3 walks to the Pirates in the bottom of the 7th when Pittsburgh would score 3. And now the Pirates are returning the favor as they've walked 2 Dodgers. And John Russell is coming out. And that likely is the end of the line for Dumatre. Dodgers trying to bounce back. They trail by 1. Dodgers saw Steven Jackson last night. He retired Ramirez, Kemp, and Loney in order in the 6th inning. Well, tonight he comes in. The Dodgers have the bases loaded and 1 out. The Dodgers' inability to hit with runners in scoring position have really.
Looks like Andre Ethier is going to come out and hit for Russell Martin too. Boy, when the Dodgers have a day where they give some of their starters the day off, you're in trouble late in the ball game if they have to use some pinch hitters. Just talking about the possibility of Joe Torre pinch hitting for Russell Martin, something that hasn't happened much at all this year.
Well, Andre in a position once again to be the hitting hero. Ethier's only faced Jackson once, 0 for 1. Manny's at third, Belliard is at second, Loney is at first. The Dodgers trail by 1, and Ethier takes high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
This kid Jackson's got good stuff. He's done a nice job for this Pirate team in his 37th appearance. ERA right around 3. On his batting average, .235 against him.
1 ball, no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes.
They got nowhere to put him. Andre Ethier, one of the more patient Dodger hitters that you're ever going to see. He has as good a plate discipline as anyone on that team, with maybe the exception of Manny Ramirez. But in this situation, he doesn't get rattled and rarely swings at a bad pitch in a great hitter's count.
31 home runs, 103 runs batted in. Popped up. Foul territory. LaRoche. Did he make the play? No.
Wow. That's a big break. It looked like an awfully difficult catch to make, but it looked like he got there, and I thought the ball was in his glove. He's got a long way to run. Now he knows the railing is here. He's leaning out over the railing. It was in his glove, and then looked like like it flipped out underneath the railing.
It may have slapped against the railing, and it was right. It was a snow cone that fell out. So now Ethier gets a break. The Dodgers get a break. The count is 2-1.
Do it again.
LaRoche has another chance, but this time too far back. Count is 2-2. In the last 2 games in Washington, the Dodgers' inability to hit in the clutch was pronounced. They were 4 for 28 against the Nationals. Last night they didn't have very many runners in scoring position. Tonight the bases are loaded. 1 out, 8th inning. Pirates lead 4-3. And Ethier awaits the 2-2. Now it's 3-2. Steven Jackson, he's 6'5", 215, from South Carolina, came out of the Yankee organization. He was designated for assignment by the Yankees back in May, and the Pirates swooped in and got him. Now the Dodgers are trying to go out and get him. 3-2. 1 out. And it's a tie score. Dodger pitching gave up 3 walks in the bottom of the 7th. The Pirates pitching has given up 3 walks in the top of the 8th. The bases loaded walk to Ethier gets Ramirez home, and the score is tied at 4.
Show you that LaRoche play again. Watch him reach over the railing. See if the ball comes back underneath the railing. I don't know who that player was that was standing right up against the railing. Didn't get out of his way to let him make the play, that's for sure. Big break for the Dodgers, and they capitalize. 3 walks.
The bases remain loaded. Orlando Hudson is the hitter. The Dodgers with a chance to take the lead. Hudson takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Now you're a team that doesn't score any runs at all. You go out and have an offensive explosion in the 7th. to take the lead over one of the best teams in the game, and then you come out and don't throw the ball over the plate.
That's your definition of an explosion in Pittsburgh. 2 singles and 3 walks.
3 runs, yeah.
No balls and a strike to Hudson. Belliard's at third, Loney's at second, Ethier's at first, and Hudson swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Colorado has just tied the score. Brad Hopp is hit a 2-run home run off Adam Wainwright. 3-3, bottom of the 4th at Coors Field. Now it's 0-2 to Hudson, 0 for 2 and a walk. Bases are loaded, 4-4, top of the 8th. High and outside. Jim Thome is in the on-deck circle. Here's Jim, the one-hit wonder. He gets 1 crack at it tonight. One and 2, 1 out. 2 and 2. Phils and Brewers are tied at 5 in the 7th in Milwaukee. Cards and Rockies are tied at 3 in the bottom of the 4th in Denver. And we are tied 4-4, 1 out in the 8th in Pittsburgh. Hudson nearly hit by a pitch. 3 and 2.
Quick feet by Hudson right there, getting himself out of the way. Some people say, well, take one for the team right there. Well, if the ball's going to hit you in the rear end or off the hip or something, that's one thing, but down around your ankles, legs, it hurts. First thing your brain tells you to do is get out of the way.
The 3-2. High and outside, ball 4. The Dodgers take the 5-4 lead. 3 walks in a row given up by Pirate pitching. 4 walks in the inning.
It's kind of amazing when you think about the situation with the Pirates too. Obviously this has not been a very good team. They've lost 23 of their last 27 games. They beat the Dodgers last night to snap a 6-game losing streak, but pitching really had not been their big issue. It was the fact that they could never score enough runs to win a game, and tonight they have blown up.
Bautista began the inning by walking Ramirez, struck out Kemp. Belliard singled to left, so he was done. DeMatre came in. James Loney, pinch hitting, walked. Steven Jackson came in. Ethier pinch hitting, walked. Hudson walked. Now the bases are loaded, and here's Jim Thome. Taking low, 1 ball, no strikes. Thome, of course, battling that plantar fasciitis. So he can't run a lick. But he can still strike the ball as solidly as anybody. 5-4 Dodgers. Thome swings and misses, and it's 1-1.
Imagine having to face in the 8th inning of any ball game 3 pinch hitters, and those hitters are Loney, Ethier, and Thome. Thanks for coming.
Loney's at third, Ethier is at second, Hudson is at first. The Dodgers with 2 in the 8th lead 5-4, and Thome drills it foul. 1-2.
Jimmy's still waiting to really get into one. Hasn't done that yet.
So the Dodgers get 2 gift runs in the top of the 8th after they gave Pittsburgh 3 gift runs in the bottom of the 7th. 5-4 the score. Thome takes high, 2-2.
trade-off here for Jim Thome, the fact that he can certainly jump the yard here and put 4 runs on the board in a heartbeat. But with that bad foot problem, any ground ball to the infield, you know how they say you can't assume a double play? You can probably assume that there's going to be a double play.
Here's the 2-2. Drilled into right field for a base hit. That's what Jim Thome does. Loney scores and Ethier scores. Thome with a clutch. 2 RBI, single to right, 4 runs in for the Dodgers in the 8th. They lead 7-4.
Jimmy's just still so big and strong at 40 years old. Just gets a ball out over the plate that he likes and just smokes it over the second baseman's head.
Now John Russell's going to come and get Steven Jackson. And Brad Ausmus will pinch run. That'll be part of the double switch for manager Joe Torre. Thome gets the job done, and the Dodgers lead 7-4. Virgil Vasquez becomes the 4th Pirate pitcher of the inning.
He was the unfortunate guy to answer the phone down there. ERA of over 6. A lot of these Pirates, as you look at Vasquez, just in his 12th game of the season, he allowed 3 runs in just 1 inning of work on Wednesday night.
And now he will face Rafael Furcal, who's 1 for 4. Hudson is at second. Ausmus is at first. The Dodgers with 4 in the 8th. 4 walks given up by Pirate pitching. And the Dodgers more than happy to unwrap the gift. So Furcal with a chance to pad the lead. Outside and high, 1 ball and no strikes. But they called it a strike. So used to calling pitch out of the zone here this inning. Virgil Vasquez from Santa Barbara, California. 27 years of age. Came out of the Tiger organization. Graduated Santa Barbara High in 2000. 0-2 to Rafael Furcal. Just inside. 1-2. So the Dodgers, it's not like they've been pounding the baseball here in the 8th inning. 4 walks, 2 hits, 4 runs, 2 on, 1 out. Foul up the first base line. Cards and Rockies 3-3, top of the 5th at Coors Field. Phils and Brewers 5-5, top of the 8th at Miller Park. And the Dodgers with 4 here in the 8th lead the Pirates by 3. After tonight, just 7 games left. The 1-2 inside and low, 2-2. If the Dodgers win and the Cardinals win, 2 things happen. 1, the Dodgers clinch a playoff spot no matter what, and their magic number will be down to 2 to win the National League Western Division title. So there's a lot riding on this game. Here's the 2-2 to Furcal. Inside, 3-2. Okay, so it hasn't been the most exciting come from behind rally. It has been nearly a half an hour, 27 minutes, since Kemp was struck out for the only out of the inning. 27 minutes. Popped up, foul, and LaRoche can't get it.
Nice catch made by a fan right there in the second row over the dugout. You know, the excitement comes from the ball being put in play. It's exciting.
Oh, whoopee, a foul ball.
It's exciting when you get hits on the offense, and exciting when the defense makes plays. But neither side can do that when you don't throw the ball over the plate.
A half an hour between outs. On 3-2. And a ground ball right side. Oh, nice play at first base by Stephen Pierce. Robbing Furcal of a hit. First and third and 2 out. Hudson goes to third.
Worst part about a great play like that Pierce makes on Furcal, he goes up and gets the fielder's choice out at second. And now Furcal has to stand right next to the guy that just robbed you of a base hit.
Gee, thanks, pal.
Yeah. You can't let that one go through. Look at the look on Furcal's face. Are you kidding me?
And your name is?
Don't you know how hot I've been?
First and third, 2 out. The Dodgers lead it 7-4. On a rally, well, 4 walks and a couple of hits, and 4 runs in the 8th. Pierre, the 9th batter of the inning, fouls it off to the right, and it's 0-1.
Ninth hitter of the inning.
Trying to work out the 5th walk of the inning. And if you include the 3 walks given up by the Dodgers pitching in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Talk about a walk in the park. Virgil Vasquez from Santa Barbara delivers the 1-1 to Pierre. Swing and a miss. Down and in, 1-2.
Good breaking ball there from Vasquez. Looked like one of those spiked curveballs.
First and third, 2 out, 4 into the 8th. One of those fake to third, fake to first moves that almost never works. A ball and 2 strikes to Pierre, who's 1 for 4 tonight, and he fouls it back and out of play. Pierre tripled in his first at-bat, came around to score on a Manny Ramirez double. That would give the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. They scored 2 in the 4th. The Pirates came back with 1 in the bottom of the 4th. So it was 3-1 until the 7th, when the Pirates would score 3, take the lead, but not for long, as the Dodgers score 4 here in the 8th. 7-4. Pierre pops it up into short center field. In comes McCutchen, and that ends the inning. But the Dodgers score 4 thanks to 4 walks and a couple of hits. 7-4. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Scott Elbert has been given the task to keep the Pirates at bay as we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Dodgers score 4 in the 8th and lead the Bucks 7-4. Elbert, this is his 6th appearance since being recalled.
This is his 15th game overall. It seems like more than that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of 17s. 17 innings pitched, 17 hits, 17 strikeouts.
Garrett Jones leads all Major League rookies with 20 home runs this season. He is the U.S. Marine leader of the pack. And he will be facing Elbert. Lefty against lefty. Ryan Doman, a switch hitter. And then Lastings Millage. Elbert, the minor league pitcher of the year for the Dodgers, delivers a strike, 0-1. And Devaris Gordon, D. Gordon, son of Flash Gordon, great young shortstop at A-ball, was the minor league position player of the year. The 0-1 is a strike, and Elbert quickly gets ahead, 0-2.
We saw D. Gordon in spring training. Pretty high on the kid. Looks like he weighs about $120.
Stole 70-something bases this year.
Put on a little weight. Get a little older.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And so Jones goes down on 3 pitches, 1 out.
Quick work. Nasty pitches that Jones saw here. This is unhittable. Down and away.
And Joe Torre is seen enough. The lefty Elbert does his job on 3 pitches, striking out Garrett Jones. Ryan Doman will hit when we come back. A reminder, cruise into the deep blue aboard the first ever Dodgers Fantasy Cruise. Join Steve Garvey and other Dodger greats for a 7-day carnival cruise along the Mexican Riviera, November 15th through the 22nd. To book your cabin or learn more, call 323-224-2646 or visit Dodgers.com/cruise. Well, Ramon Troncoso now with 1 out in the 8th. Will face a switch hitting Ryan Doman and then Lastings Millage. Scott Elbert, 3 pitches. He strikes out Garrett Jones. Troncoso making his 71st appearance of the year. And on the first pitch, it's a line drive into right field for a base hit. Andre Ethier in right field now. Kemp moved to center. And Pierre came out of the game. So Troncoso on the first pitch to Doman, bang, a base hit to right. Last saw Troncoso on Thursday night in Washington. Pitched an inning and a third and walked 2, struck out 1. No runs, no hits.
Come out and talk to him now.
Rick Honeycutt. Dodger bullpen for the moment. Now they're going to work.
Big James out there.
Against Washington, even though the Dodgers took 2 out of 3, nothing was easy. Last night, Joe Torre freely admitting before the game today his club was flat. And tonight, they're in a struggle with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Who are 38 games under 500. Now Lastings Village.
Came into this series having lost 23 of their last 26 games.
That was, did you see that note in the paper the other day? They were 3-23. The last time they were that bad in a 26 game stretch, you had to go back to 90. 1890. The 0-1. Fly ball, center field, easy play for Matt Kemp. And that'll be the 2nd out of the 8th inning. Have to go back to 1890 for a period of time that bad. Well, there's 2 out.
Now, the thing that worries you a little bit about what we've seen out of Troncoso lately is that he's a sinker ball pitcher. And if his ball gets elevated a little bit, he can become very hittable. Pretty tough when he keeps it down, but when you look at the first 2 hitters that he's faced so far, a good hard line drive to right field for a base hit, and then a fly ball to the outfield. Even if you get outs that way, it's not really a good sign.
Steve Pearce takes a strike. It's 0-1. He's 0 for 3. He's got some power.
Got some power, and he's in a funk too. 4 for 41 is Pearce.
No balls and a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Sinker darting down and in, and Troncoso's a strike away from getting out of the 8th inning. The Dodgers protecting a 7-4 lead. The 0-2. Outside, blocked by Brad Osmus, stays in the game. Of course, he came in a pinch run for Jim Thome, who had the big hit of the 8th inning, a 2-run bases loaded single. So Osmus inserted into the game, and Andre Ethier in right field inserted into the game. Broxton warms in the Dodger pen. He'll pitch the 9th. The 1-2. Fly ball, center field, retreating is Kemp. He's got room, and he's got it, and that ends the inning. No runs and 1 hit. We go to the 9th. The Dodgers an inning away from clinching a spot in the postseason. With the Dodgers leading 7-4, we head to the 9th inning. Manny Ramirez, Matt Kemp, and Ronnie Belliard will hit against Virgil Vasquez. The Dodgers are an inning away from going to the postseason for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. They haven't done that since 1963, 65, and 66. But in fairness, in those days, there was no wild card. There was no division play. They won the National League pennant. But in this day and age, here come the Dodgers, 3 outs away from heading into the postseason. But the real celebration from the Dodger point of view won't come until they clinch the division, something they could conceivably do by the end of play tomorrow. Manny Ramirez takes a strike to begin the 9th inning. Manny 2 for 2 and 2 walks and 2 runs scored tonight. And a breaking ball. 1-1. Cardinals and Rockies tied at 3 in the bottom of the 5th in Colorado. Phillies and Brewers 5-5 in Milwaukee in the bottom of the 9th as Manny swings and misses. Kershaw and McCutchen tomorrow morning at 10:30 here on Prime Ticket. The 1-2, high and inside, 2-2. Matt Kemp is on deck. Vasquez, the 5th Pirate pitcher of the night. Just outside, 3-2. Two more games here in Pittsburgh tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow and Monday. Here's the 3-2. High ball 4, leadoff walk for Ramirez, his 3rd walk of the night.
Manny pretty quietly had a nice day. 5 times on base, scored a couple runs, couple hits. Manny could go relatively unnoticed unless he hits a ball into the seats. And yet he can still have a very productive day without doing it.
Single, a double, 3 walks. Beside the 2 runs scored, he drove in a run, and now Matt Kemp. Kemp tonight is 0 for 4. Takes a strike, it's 0-1. Kuroda and Duke on Monday morning at 9:30. After the game, the Dodgers fly to San Diego for 2 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Kemp fouls it off to the right and out of play. Next Thursday, an off day. And next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the final 3 games of the season, the regular season, the Rockies will be in town. The Rockies are hitting in the bottom of the 5th against Wainwright and the Cardinals, 3-3 at Coors Field. Phils and Brewers are tied at 5 in the 9th in Milwaukee. And the Braves already won today. So the Braves, they have only the Rockies in their sights. High and inside.
Little chin music right there. We were talking about it a little bit in last night's game. I think people don't really understand it. You can literally hear that ball going by you.
The hiss of a rattlesnake.
It makes a noise. You don't want to hear it. Way too close to your ears if you're really hearing it well.
Or you're too close.
Get out of the kitchen. Now Matt Kemp popped up a couple times and struck out. Then you throw one up by his noggin. You don't want to wake up a sleeping dog.
Little number foul. Rockies fail to score in the bottom of the 5th. They go to the 6th inning in Denver 3-3, the Cardinals and the Rockies. Phillies 2 out, nobody on in the top of the 9th, tied with the Brewers at 5. All of the other games in the National League to the Dodgers are utterly meaningless. The 1-2. Kemp takes low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kemp, while 0 for 4 tonight, has a hit in 15 of his last 16 games. On 2-2, Matt with a 1-hopper to LaRoche and a 5-4-3 double play. LaRoche to Delwyn Young to Steve Pearce.
Add another double play to the total, the league leading total of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Got to be pretty impressed with the way that LaRoche has played third base. It was one of the question marks whether or not he'd catch the ball for the Dodgers, but he's worked really hard along with Delwyn Young. And we talked a lot about Perry Hill, the infield instructor here for the Pirates, who just does an outstanding job.
And a strike to Ronnie Belliard. And an old friend of ours, former Dodger third base coach Rich Donnelly, is part of the Pirates staff here. Fly ball to left field and deep and gone. A home run for Ronnie Belliard. His 10th home run of the season. And for Belliard, his 5th with the Dodgers. And they lead it 8-4. Belliard's 3rd hit of the night.
Ronnie just continues to amaze me how he either gets out front and pulls balls way down the line or goes the other way down the line. Look at this. As soon as he hit it, he knew he got it. Fair or foul was the only question. Just gets the bat head out and just really hammered that ball down the line.
So Belliard, in 22 games with the Dodgers, has hit 5 home runs. In 85 games in Washington, he hit 5 home runs. Now Loney.
And they say that your environment doesn't rub off on you.
I remember last year, Angel Baroa came over. Pablo Ozuna would help the Dodgers down the stretch. Belliard did the same thing in St. Louis back in 2006, helping to lead the Cardinals to a world title.
Matt Holliday this year.
Well, Holliday was, the treasure trove of the trade deadline. Or actually, let me take that back. It was a part of that deal that Carlos Gonzalez went to Colorado and Houston Street. And then, of course, Holliday would come over from Oakland and has done a terrific job with the Cardinals. Loney to the right side. Delwyn Young, it's going to be an infield hit.
Looked to me like it took a funny little hop when Delwyn went to dive for it. Almost looked like it hit him off his head. Certainly didn't get it in his glove because it didn't stay in there. Watch when he dives. Oh, off the thumb of his glove and then off his chest. Now he doesn't really know where it is.
Now Ethier to bat. Dodgers with an 8-4 lead. Once Holiday was inserted into the Cardinal lineup to protect Albert Pujols, and then Ludwig on the back end. Those are 3 tough outs. Is there a better hitter in the game today than Albert Pujols?
Nope. I just think it's funny. We've done it the last couple of nights. We've had discussions, and you know, we're talking lately about the fact that both Kemp and Ethier now are in the discussions when the MVP comes up. But at what point are you so great that people start saying, well, if you take Albert Pujols out of the equation, who's your MVP? I mean, what? It is a foregone conclusion. He's the MVP, but it's like everyone just says, okay, so let's talk second place.
Who's the second best horse after Secretariat?
Yeah.
Pujols is second in the league at 331, first in the league with 47 home runs, third in the league with RBIs, first in the league in runs scored, first in the league in on-base percentage, 447, second in the league in walks, first in the league in slugging percentage, first in the league in extra base hits. No further questions, Your Honor.
Jeez.
Witness may step down.
You're talking about guys that have clauses in their contracts for getting a bonus if you're the MVP. It was pointed out that Carlos Delgado used to get a bonus of like $50,000 if he was the MVP. But he would get the $50,000 bonus if he finished second in the MVP voting if Bonds won.
Well, Troncoso stands to win the game. Dodgers lead at 8-4. Jonathan Broxton on to close out the small details with the Dodgers leading the Pirates 8-4, 3 outs away from going to the postseason for the second consecutive year. And the hope now is that the Cardinals can beat the Rockies tonight, and the Dodgers can whittle the magic number down for the division title to 2. Broxton making his 70th appearance.
Well, his last 11 save opportunities, he's been perfect with an ERA of 0. This is not a save opportunity.
Opposing hitters this year hitting just 158.
Yeah, at what point do you say opposing hitters this year aren't hitting against him?
72 and 2/3 innings. He has struck out 109, which is about 12 or 13 strikeouts per 9 innings. Well, Delwyn Young, who grew up in the Dodger organization along with Broxton, facing his old buddy to begin the bottom of the 9th, and a foul back. It's 0-1, 96 miles an hour worth of heat. Well, the Dodgers just got some help in Milwaukee. The Brewers win in the bottom of the 9th. It's like a Ryan Braun home run. 7-5, they beat the Phillies.
Don't tell me it was Lidge.
Don't have that information yet. Walker, Tyler Walker.
Well, they've been trying everybody out there to close games. Nobody's been able to do it. That's going to be a problem for the Phillies. They've lost confidence now in Lidge, no question about that, blown 11 saves. They tried Ryan Madsen out there. That didn't go all that well. And now Tyler Walker.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Walker didn't get an out in that inning. Gave up a hit, then a home run to Braun. Game over.
And the Dodgers will go 3 up on Philadelphia in the loss column for best record. Delwyn Young has been struck out to begin the bottom of the 9th by Jonathan Broxton.
Fastball right down the middle. Boy, you throw 98 miles an hour, you sometimes can get away with throwing one right down the middle.
Dodgers 2 outs away from the postseason. Now Luis Cruz, who had a bases loaded hit in the 7th inning when the Pirates briefly overtook the Dodgers and took a 4-3 lead, but the Dodgers lead 8-4 with 4 in the 8th and 1 here in the 9th. Cruz has 2 hits, but now he is 2 for 4 and there's 2 out, and now the Dodgers 1 out away.
I don't think you're going to see much of a celebration knowing that the Dodgers have clinched a playoff spot. I think that celebration will come if they clinch the division,
which conceivably could happen tomorrow. Dodgers an out away from whittling down the magic number over Colorado to 3. If the Dodgers can watch the Cardinals beat the Rockies tonight, it'll be down to 2. And then if the Dodgers win tomorrow and the Cardinals win tomorrow, the Dodgers are the Western Division champions. 2 out. Nothing in 1.
It's got to be a little bit of a relief knowing that you're going to be in the playoffs at any rate. And so what do? You just have a bigger smile on your face when you shake hands at the end of this game?
Well, it's one small step for man, or at least for the Dodgers. They still have that giant leap to make. The 0-1 to Brandon Moss, now 0-2. Dodgers a strike away from the playoffs. 8-4, 2 out, bottom of the 9th. Slapped foul down the left field line. Ball boy with a nice play. He made the play like he's done it before.
That's you come to a game here in Pittsburgh, you got enough room to move around and make the play.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 9th inning. The Dodgers an out away from their 93rd win of the season. Ooh, 1-2. Two out, 9th inning. Broxton has the sign from Osmus. And the Dodgers are going to the postseason. On the 167th day in which they've been in first place, the Dodgers now are guaranteed a spot in the postseason. Their magic number now is down to 3 as they beat the Pirates tonight 8-4. And for Joe Torre, 14 consecutive seasons, he has taken a team 12 times with the Yankees, now 2 years in a row with the Dodgers, into the playoffs.
That's just an amazing run for a Hall of Fame manager, and talking about doing it with a couple different teams now, so that certainly means something. And the Dodgers a little sigh of relief, I think, knowing now that they're definitely in the playoffs. Now the only scoreboard watching is to figure out who they're going to play and how well they can play down the stretch in order to get best record in the National League.
And the Cardinals have scored a run in the top half of the 7th inning. They are still batting in Colorado, leading 4-3, but congratulations to the Dodgers. They're playoff bound. Dodger Baseball and Prime Ticket is brought to you by your Southern California Hyundai dealers. Get more of what you want for thousands less. Dodger Baseball and Prime Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. So the Dodgers win it 8-4, and in the process, on their 167th day in first place, they have clinched a spot in the playoffs with their win over the Pirates tonight. And we are joined downstairs by Andre Ethier. Andre, again, congratulations in order to make the playoffs. What would you say the mood of the club is? We can hear some of the noise in the background, but this is just merely step one, I imagine.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to know that we did secure ourselves a spot in the playoffs, but the next step is to go and win our division and secure home field advantage. So I don't think the celebration can start quite yet, but we still have some work to do. We have a couple games to get that job done, and I think we'll celebrate when we achieve that goal.
A nice night for you today. You get the day off and then get an at-bat in a pressure situation. Describe that at-bat and how it worked out for you.
After the first two pitches, I was aware they weren't going to throw me much there, so went up there and was patient and worked a good count. You know, luckily they fouled the pitch off, and LaRoche was able to kind of drop it in the dugout there and give me a second chance. And sure enough, and you know, worked myself in the 3-2 count there. And like I said, they weren't going to challenge me much there, and came with a split finger ball in the dirt for ball 4, and got things rolling for that inning.
Describe the situation that you guys will be having now as the rest of the season plays out. You know you're in the playoffs, so the scoreboard watching is a little bit different now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just looked over and saw that the Cardinals went up by a run there, and you know, it's about, like I said, winning our division and securing home field advantage now. I think we got a good shot at doing both, and you know, we'll take our chances here the last couple of days.
It was Jason LaRue who hit the home run for the Cardinals in Colorado.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I looked over there and saw 4-3 now, so you know, it's nice to see that, and we're getting a little help from some other teams out there, but hopefully that team is not too hot when we're rolling in the playoffs.
All right, Andre, thank you, and congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks a lot.
We're going to take a break. The fireworks show is just beginning. For the Dodgers, the fireworks are just beginning indeed. 8-4 win over the Pirates tonight. The Dodgers are in the playoffs. Dodger Baseball and Prime Ticket is brought to you by your Southern California Hyundai dealers. Get more of what you want for thousands less. Earlier tonight, we asked who the batting stance guy was impersonating. The answer is Andre Ethier. The batting stance guy, brought to you by Blue Shield of California. And there is the real thing. In talking with Andre Ethier, Steve, the sense that we were talking about, and I got from Andre, is that it was, you know, a nice accomplishment to get to the playoffs, but the Dodgers, who have played so well all year, 167 days they've been in first place, realize they still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and I think it's relief at this point. I really believe maybe the biggest celebration outside of winning a World Series is when you clinch the division, and I think that's when you see those guys let loose and really understand that they're in the playoffs. Then when you win, you win the division series, a little celebration, no big deal. When you win a league championship series, you get into the World Series, that mounts a little bit, it gets bigger. But, getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, those celebrations are fun. But right now, it's just, I think it's business as usual. We're in the playoffs, got to look at best record, got to look at winning a division.
To that end, the Brewers beat the Phillies tonight on a walk-off home run by Ryan Braun. The Cardinals have a 4-3 lead in the 7th inning in Colorado. Tonight, Randy Wolf turned in an outstanding performance, but unfortunately for Randy, no decision.
Yeah, too bad. I thought it was a little bit of a quick hook for Joe Torre and Randy Wolf tonight. He'd only thrown about 83 pitches. I thought he still had a little more left in the tank, and as it turned out, the guys that did come into the ball game after that, Hung-Chi Kuo didn't really have his good stuff, forced Joe to use more guys out of the bullpen than he had hoped to, so it didn't work out exactly the way Joe liked, but they still got the win.
And now there are but 7 games left in the regular season. The Dodger magic number at the moment is down to 3 to win the National League West outright, and the Dodgers are getting some help from the Cardinals tonight.
Well, it's nice when you get down to this point in the season. Everybody knows that if you take care of your own business, that no one can catch you if you just go out there and keep winning games. But if you need other teams to lose and they're playing someone else, it's nice if they lose those games and you get some help from someone else. 2
more here in Pittsburgh, 2 in San Diego. The final 3 next weekend at home with the Rockies.
And we'll be there.
Look forward to seeing you all again. Eric Collins will be back with you all tomorrow. We'll move over to the radio with Rick Monday. That's a wrap for us from Pittsburgh, where the Dodgers are going to the postseason after their 8-4 win over the Pirates.